Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Life Science with Nivedita. So I am coming through the question paper solving series, that is GATE 2020 question paper. So we already done the part 1. So this is the part 2 of this series. If you haven't watched that part 1, so I provide the link in the description. So check it out, watch that first and later join here. Okay, so without any further delay, so let's get started. So we done 10 questions in the first part, right? So this is the 11th question of this part. Okay, so the question is, in which of the following organ beta oxidation of long chain fatty acid is initiated with an object of shortening the chain length? Okay, so first of all, beta oxidation is nothing but what? It is nothing but the breakdown of fatty acids. Okay, so which, if example, very long chain fatty acid is there, it is not easily digestible in our body, right? So that has to be breakdown in a small fatty acid. So for that, beta oxidation process is happening in our body. Okay, so they have asking the question, which organelle will happen the beta oxidation long chain fatty acid is initiated with an object of shortening the chain length. Okay, option A lysosomes, option B peroxisomes, option C microsomes, and option D Golgi apparatus. Okay, so let us see the answer. So first of all, peroxisomes. So what is peroxisomes? It is a beta oxidation also occurs in peroxisome, but where it is major site in the plants. Okay, in the plants, the major beta oxidation, that is fatty acid breakdown will takes place in the peroxisome organelles, but when come to the human body, it is takes place in the mitochondria. Okay, so these peroxisomes are primary organelles for oxidation of very long chain and branched chain fatty acid such as cerotic acid and also phytanic acid. Okay, so these two are very long chain fatty acid which is present in the plant cells. To oxidize these fatty acids, the peroxisome organelle, in the peroxisome organelle, this beta oxidation will take place. Okay, so see here, this is the anatomy of peroxisome. This is the cell membrane. As we all know, this plasma membrane is made up of lipid bilayer, right? It is made up of lipid bilayer, and inside this peroxisome, we can see the urate oxidase crystalline core. Okay, so when we see under the microscope, we will see here, this is the small dots you can appear, right? So that is the peroxisomes. Okay, so what is the answer? That is peroxisome, that is in plant cells. Okay, when come to the animal cells, it is occur in the mitochondria. Okay, so see here, you can see over here, right? Peroxisomes, it is also present in animal cells, but in small amount. As I said, it is only present in the plant cells, not in animal cells. No, it is also present in the animal cells, but it vary the in the function. Okay, in animal cells, it is helps to synthesize the cholesterol. Okay, but in plant cells, it is helps to breakdown of long chain fatty acids. Okay, so see here, this is the some organelles of the animal cell. So just go through this slide. Okay, so now come to the lysosomes. Okay, so in other options, other than that correct options, these options are there in the question. So I will discuss these options also. No, so that's why I put this slide. So first of all, what is lysosomes? You people heard lysosomes is also called as suicide bags, right? So why it is so called? Why it is called as suicide bags? Because the function of the lysosome is like a stomach of a cell. So when we take our body, what is the function of the stomach? It will digest the food whatever we intake, whether it is carbohydrate, whether it is protein, whether it is lipids, it will get digested in our body, right? So it is act like a stomach. Which one? Lysosome is act like a stomach of a cell. So for our body, stomach is helps to digestion. For our cell also, for the digestion, stomach, this lysosome is act like a stomach. Okay, so where old organelles will go and die? It will go and die in the lysosomes. Okay, so it will clean up crew, it will clean the cell, because wherever non-broken organelles are there, these lysosomes go in that part and digest that part and remove that part in our body. Okay, so when it comes to the structure, vesicles of digestive enzymes. So how it is breakdown? By using the some digestive enzymes, it will help. That means the digestive enzymes will lead to breakdown of the some organelles, molecules, whatever. Okay, so it is synthesized by rough endoplasmic reticulum and transferred to Golgi. Okay, this lysosome is there now. So it is synthesized. Where it is synthesized? in the rough endoplasmic reticulum, and later it is transported into Golgi apparatus. And the important thing is it is only present in the animal cells. Okay, this lysosome is not present in the plant cells. So see here, this is the peroxisome fragment, means the waste material will get fragmented inside the lysosomes, and this is the mitochondrial fragment. Okay, means it has to be digested. If it is not used in our body, means this lysosome go and fragmented that part and remove that part in our body. Okay, so now come to the microsomes. So as in the name itself says, right, micro is nothing but what? Small, right? So here micro means here, no, micro, the name itself says micro means small, right? So the microsomes are the heterogeneous set of vesicles which is having 20 to 200 nanometer in diameter. Okay, this microsome is there, no, it is a heterogeneous set of vesicles. Okay, when come to the diameter, it is having 20 to 200 nanometer in diameter. So it is formed from the endoplasmic reticulum when cells are disrupted. Okay, so when these microsomes are formed, when in our body cells are disrupted, right? So in that case, it is formed in the endoplasmic reticulum. Inside our cell, endoplasmic reticulum is there, no? In that part, these microsomes will get disrupted. Okay, these microsomes will get formed. So rough endoplasmic reticulum coated with the ribosomes gives granular appearance. They form small vesicles called microsomes. Okay, so what happened? This rough endoplasmic reticulum is there, no? So that will get coated with the ribosome with granular appearance. Okay, like some granules appearance, and then they will form a small vesicles. Okay, very small vesicles, that is called as a microsomes. Okay, so how we can isolate, how we can get to know the vesicles means these vesicles are isolated by differential centrifugation. Okay, you can see over here, this is the differential centrifugation. Okay, starting we have to take in the tissue, we have to homogenize this. Homogenization is nothing but just mixture. Okay, just crushing. Okay, so after the homogenization, we get the homogenate. We have to centrifuge that homogenate, and after the centrifugation, we got the supernatant. Okay, supernatant is nothing but the upper part. Okay, for example, this is a test tube, right? So something we have centrifuge in the inside the test tube. So the thing which is present in the this part, okay, this is the supernatant, and the things or molecules which will get settled in the bottom. Okay, for example, here something is settled here. Once again, okay, something is settled here. Okay, the purple color I will mention, right? Something is settled, that is known as pellet. Okay, so when centrifugation takes place, whatever things go and settle in the bottom, that is pellet, and whatever thing which is occur here, no, this part, that is supernatant. Okay, you can see over here, right? This is supernatant, and here you can see the pellet, that is cell debris. Okay, so again we did the centrifugation. Okay, again it will get differentiate. So what happened? It is cytosolic fraction is occur in the supernatant, and the pellet will get accumulated. Again we will undergo the resuspended centrifugation. So after that, at last we got microsomal fraction. You can see over here, this one, the pellet, right? So that is the microsomes. Okay, so composed of three structural features, that is rough vesicles, smooth vesicles, and also ribosomes. Okay, when we taken these microsomes and see the features, it is having three structural features, that is rough vesicles, smooth vesicles, and also ribosomes. Okay, so this is about the microsomes. So now come to the Golgi apparatus. This Golgi apparatus consists of flattened membrane sacs. Okay, flattened membrane sacs is nothing but like this. Okay, like this flattened. Okay, like flattened membrane sac. Okay, we see in the beside of the nucleus, this like this structure we can appear, right? So that is Golgi apparatus. Okay, so it is consist of flattened membranes like this. This flattened membrane sac is known as cisternae. Okay, so what is the function of this Golgi apparatus? It will function like shipping and receiving center. For example, I am ordering some food. Okay, online delivery of food I am ordering through the online. So is they taken simply, like for example, I am ordering roti and curry. Okay, so is the people who are delivered, the boy, that boy is taken, put on the plate and giving to me? No, right? So there is a specific manner, means it has to be packaged in a specific manner, then only it will deliver to my place, right? So in the same thing, this Golgi apparatus also doing that function only. Has to be shipping the molecules or materials, whatever, and receiving it to the target site. Okay, so what are the functions of the Golgi apparatus? It will modify products of the ER. Okay, in the ER, for example, okay, so this is the ER, right? So here, once again, so inside the on the ER, some molecules or some materials are present. Okay, so that will enter inside the Golgi apparatus. So in the Golgi apparatus, some modifications will take place, and through the vesicle, it will send to the target site. Okay, manufacture certain macromolecules, that is polysaccharides, in plants. Okay, the main function is sorts and packages the material and transport into vesicles. Okay, so it form like a vesicles. For example, here some materials are there. So I'll mention in the black color. Okay, so here some materials are there, some lot of materials. So that will enter inside the Golgi operator. So in the Golgi operators, what happened? It has to be safely transported, right? As I already said, the food has to be packaged in a specific manner. That's why this which one? These materials also packed in a specific manner. That's why they have load inside this vesicle. The red color I have mentioned, no? So that is vesicle. So inside that, materials will be safely transported to the target site. Okay, so this is the main function of Golgi apparatus. So now, once again, so see here the structure of Golgi apparatus. You can see over here the cream color highlighted, no? So that is Golgi apparatus. This is nucleus. Okay, so beside the nucleus only it is present. So they will enlarge this Golgi apparatus. You can see over here the flattened structure is known as cisternae, right? So this thing, and here this is trans phase, means where the molecules and get attached initially here. So here what happened? Shipping takes place. Shipping is nothing but it will get started packaging. Okay, so after that, this is the receiving phase. Okay, so here transport vesicle from ER. From the ER, vesicle will be transported. Okay, so here the receiving the materials, no, so that is receiving from here. So by formation some functioning, here new vesicle formation takes place. So after forming the vesicle, the material they have receiving, right? So they have sent by the forming the vesicle like this. Okay, the transport vesicle from the Golgi to the target portion. Okay, so this is about the Golgi apparatus. So now let's move on to the next question. That is the cell division, which consists of nuclear division, that is mitosis, followed by cytoplasmic division, that is cytokinesis, occur during when? Okay, the option A is G1 phase, option B S phase, option C G2 phase, and option D M phase. Okay, so now let us discuss what is the answer. So this is the cell division. Okay, so cell division is something but one cell has to divide, right? Multiplication has to be takes place, because as we discussed in the reproduction, it means happen means that one is has to be multiplied. So in a cell division also, whether it is in bacteria, any other microorganism, when come to the plant, when come to the human being, reproduction is same, but it will vary in the number. From microorganisms to human animals, it vary in the number. Okay, so the process is same for all, that is mitosis and meiosis. So mitosis is equational division and meiosis is reductional division. Okay, so let us discuss about the cell division. So the first phase is interphase. Okay, interphase means what? The chromosomes are extended and used during the G1S and G2 phase. Okay, G1 means growth one phase, S means synthesis phase, that is DNA replication as takes place in S phase only, and G2 phase is growth 2 phase. Okay, so this is the first stage of the cell division. That is, see here, this is the first stage. Here cell will started to multiply. Okay, so after the interphase, the next phase is prophase. Okay, so here what happened? The chromosomes condense. Okay, chromosomes will condense together and the nuclear envelope will break down and spindle forms will be formed. Okay, so see here, it is in the interphase, it will somehow coil like structure, but when come to the prophase, it will start functioning. Okay, so this it has to be again after the one cycle completed, it has to be again multiply, right? So that's why the first stage prophase is happen by forming the spindle fibers. Okay, so after the prophase, the next stage is metaphase. So in the metaphase, what happened? The chromosomes line up on the central plane on the cell. Okay, meta place means the meta plate means the in middle side the chromosomes will get coming and arranged in this manner. Okay, so after the metaphase, the next stage is anaphase. So in the anaphase, what happens? The centromeres will divide and the chromatids move towards the opposite poles. Okay, in the metaphase stage, what happens? It will coming in the middle phase, but in the anaphase, what happens? It will go to the opposite poles like this. Okay, so after the anaphase, the next stage is telophase. So here, what happens? The chromosomes uncoil and a new nuclear envelope will be formed. You can see over here chromosomes, right? So that will get uncoiled. Why? Because it has to be divided in the next phase. That's why uncoiling takes place and the new nuclear envelope will be formed. Why new nuclear envelope? In the next stage, this one cell has to divide into separate two other cells, right? So that's why new nuclear envelope will be formed and the spindle fibers here, no? So that will get disappear. Okay, because if spindle fiber appear means it is very hard to separate cells, right? So that's why. And the last stage is cytokinesis. Okay, so here what happened? The cytoplasm of the cell is cleaved into half. Okay, so here in the prophase, what happened? The coiled structure, no, chromosomes will get form a spindle fibers to condense the chromosome. So in the metaphase, what happened? The chromosomes will come in the middle plate. Okay, in the middle plane. And in the anaphase, what happened? The middle chromosomes will get separated into opposite poles. In the telophase, it completely started to separate, and the spindle fibers which are appear in the middle phase, no, so that will get disappear. And at last, in the cytokinesis, what happened? The cell will cleaved into half. Okay, two from the one cell, two cells will be formed. Okay, so this is the overall process of the which one? Cell division. Okay, so in the cell division, this one C, right? G1, S, and G2, that is known as growth phase, and this prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase, this is known as M phase, that is mitosis phase, and also cytokinesis also involving this mitosis phase only. Okay, so see here, this is the overall cell cycle. G1 phase, that is the cell growth phase. So after that, that is S phase, nothing but DNA replication phase. Okay, so then after the DNA replication phase, it has to be prepared for mitosis, right? So that's why that is G2 phase. So after that, cell division has to be takes place. So that phase is called as mitosis phase. Okay, so according to this, which is the answer? M phase, right? So in the mitotic phase only, the cytokinesis and also all the phases will be appear. Okay. So now move on to the next question. Which of the following pair matches with membrane transport process and its primary function? Okay, so option A, exocytosis, that is the movement of macromolecules into the cell, and option B is pinocytosis, that is the uptake of water and solutes into the cell, and option C is osmosis, that is passive diffusion of small solutes, and option D is phagocytosis. Okay, it's nothing but secretion of large particles from the cell. Okay, so in the question they have asking which pair matches with the membrane transport process. Okay, so see here, first of all, membrane transport means which is the primary thing? Cell membrane, plasma membrane, right? So cell needs an inside and outside. Okay, something, if any molecules get inside it, it has to be enter inside. If any molecules or any thing which is able to come outside means it has to be sent outside, right? So it separates cell from its environment. How it is separated? So for example, this is a cell. Okay, this is a cell. So plasma membrane will surround around the cell like this. If any molecules which is enter inside it through plasma membrane only, it has to be enter. If any molecules able to go outside through this plasma membrane only, it has to be sent outside. Okay, so we can set this cell membrane as a boundary. Okay, in our house we can make a compound, right? So in the same way, for our cell, this plasma membrane will act like a compound, that is like a boundary. Okay, so can it be impermeable boundary? Means is any molecules whatever the thing is easy to enter or easy to outside, sorry, is any molecules which has to be enter inside, that is easily entered because it is impermeable. Okay, so even though some proteins are not easily entered because this plasma membrane is made up of lipid bilayer. Okay, so for that there is a carriers. Okay, some ion carriers, protein channels is present. Okay, through that channels proteins transportation takes place, and lipids will easily enter inside the cell through membrane only because it is made up of lipid bilayer, right? So that's why lipid molecules will easily enter inside the cell through cell membrane itself. Okay, so what are the things which inside coming inside the cell means carbohydrate, sugars, proteins, amino acids, lipids, salts, oxygen, and also water. So these are the molecules which will come inside to the cell. Okay, so what are the molecules go outside? That is waste, ammonia, salts, carbon dioxide, water products. Okay, so these are all which is not necessary for our cell, that will send outside from our cell. Okay, so cell needs materials in and products or waste outside. Okay, whatever our cell needs, that will enter inside, and whatever the cell doesn't need for any function or anything, it will send outside from the our body. Okay, so this is about the plasma membrane. So now I already said some cellular transportation takes place, right? So if it is cell means, for example, this is a cell, this is plasma membrane. So lipid molecule will easily get inside the cell, but some protein molecules is not easily entered. It requires some special transport system, that is protein channels. Okay, protein and also some ion channels. Through that channels only the proteins and some other ions will enter inside the cell. Okay, so there are two types of transport, that is transportation through the cell membrane, right? So it is include two types, that is passive transport and active transport. Okay, so in passive transport, what happens? Cell doesn't use energy. Energy is nothing but ATP. Okay, ATP is there now, so that is the energy. So in the passive transport, what happens? This doesn't need the ATP, but in active transport, it requires this ATP. Okay, so see here, what are the passive transport? Diffusion, facilitated diffusion, and also osmosis. Okay, doesn't need any kind of energy, right? So see here, from high to low, it without any energy it will pass us. Okay, so when come to the active transport, it requires energy. In the presence of ATP only it can transport. So what are those? Protein pumps, endocytosis, exocytosis. Okay, so these all are the active transport to cellular transport. Okay, you can see over the active transport, this is gonna be hard. Why they have feel very hard? Because there is no energy, they they're not getting any kind of energy, so that's why they have to move from low to high. Okay, so for moving to low to high, it requires energy like ATP. Okay, so this is about the types of cellular transport. So see here, the osmosis which is coming in the passive transport, means passive means it doesn't need any kind of energy. Without the energy, it will easily move from one solution to another solution. Okay, so first of all, how water molecules move across a semi-permeable membrane that separates two molecules. You can see over here. Okay, so this is a water molecules. Okay, so here some calcium and also some chlorine and sodium ions are there. So it has to be movement, because for example, here the water molecule is more, the water molecules is less here if it in case. So it has to be maintained in normal range. So how it can maintain, you can see the semi-permeable membrane in the middle, right? So through that semi-permeable membrane, the movement of water can takes place. Okay, so because why it is happen? To equalize the concentration of the solution. Okay, in the both side the concentration has to be equally. Okay, not like this, it is not like one is not like this, one is not like this. No, it has to be maintained in a proper manner. That's why this osmosis will takes place. Okay, so in this passive diffusion, no need to energy. So whatever molecules it will take, it will filter out, and through the semi-permeable membrane, the excess water molecule will be move out. Okay, so this you can see over here, this is the semi-permeable membrane. So this through this membrane, the molecules will get move across the other part. Okay, so according to the discussion, what is the answer? Osmosis is passive diffusion, right? It doesn't need any energy to pass from one one part to another part. Okay, so now come to the endocytosis and exocytosis. So endocytosis is nothing but what occur when cell engulf material and bring it into the cell using a vesicle. Means it is moving inside. Okay, using the energy in the form of ATP. As I already said, this is coming under the active transport. This endocytosis is coming under the active transport. So here what it use? It will use ATP for its function. Okay, so you can see over here, some molecules will present in the outside of the cell. It has to be enter inside the cell. So how it can enter? By forming the vesicle. Okay, so inside the materials will be coming, right? So that is known as endocytosis. Okay, so now come to the exocytosis. Here what happens when it is occurs? when cells excrete material and move it outside of the cell using a vesicle. So in the endocytosis, what happens? The outside material will come inside the cell, but in exocytosis, what happens? It will uses the energy in the form of ATP to move the vesicle out of the cell. Okay, it has to be moved from the inside to outside. You can see over here, it will move outside, right, forming the vesicle, and from the inside it will move outside from the cell. Okay, so see the endocytosis types, that is phagocytosis, pinocytosis, receptor mediated endocytosis, and also caveolae. Okay, so here what happened in the phagocytosis? This is the large particle, this is cell membrane. Okay, by using the cell membrane, some pseudopodium will be takes place and forming the phagosome. Okay, so in the pinocytosis, what happened? The small particles will be appear, so that will get engulfed in the plasma membrane and also forming vesicle and send inside the cytoplasm. Okay, so in the receptor mediated endocytosis, what happened? By using the receptor means some receiving molecule. For example, a ball is coming from my side, so I have taken the ball like this. No, so in the same way, in the cell membrane, there is some receptor are there. So any molecules will come, it has to be close to that by using the receptor and sent to the inside the cell. Okay, so here you can see the Y-shaped structure, right? This is the receptor. Okay, whatever molecules will present the outside of the cell, that will contact with the receptor and enter inside the cell by using the clathrin protein vesicle. Okay, clathrin coated vesicle will be formed, right? So inside that, see here, this is the molecules, so that is get connected with the receptor molecules. Okay, so the last one, endocytosis, is caveolae. So here what happened? Here a caveolae protein. So here clathrin protein is present, right, in the receptor mediated. So here caveolae protein is, that is caveolin protein, will get attached and forming a pit-like structure. Okay, forming a flask-shaped pit-like structure and forming a vesicle. Okay, to enter the molecules inside the cell. These four processes will be happen. Okay, so that is about transport system. So now let us move on to the next question, that is the core of the nucleosome consists of what? Option A, H1, H2A, H2B, H4. Option B, H2A, H2B, H. Option C, H1, H2A, H2B, H3. And option D, H1, H2A, H3 and H4. Okay, so what is HHH? Simply H, I am repeating, no. So what is nothing but H means? That is nothing but histones. Okay, so histones is, you can see over here, it will found in the DNA. Okay, DNA will wrapping around the nucleosome, right? So that is with the help of histone only. Okay, so what are the subunits? The histone subunits are, it is containing 2 units of H2A, 2 units of H2B, and 2 units of H3 and 2 units of H4. Okay, so histone H1 is not in the core but acts as a clamp and keeps the linker DNA in place. You can see here, this is DNA. Okay, so this is histone. So this is the nucleosome. Nucleosome is forming, right? So here you can see, right, this is the histone subunits. It is forming 8 histone core. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Behind that also one histone is present. Okay, so histones are positively charged. So negatively charged DNA is get wrapped around them. Okay, so as we already know, positive charge and negative charge will attract each other because these two are opposite charge, right? So that's why opposite charge are attract each other. That's why the histone will getting positive charge and our DNA will having negative charge. Okay, so now these two will be get attract in a very easy manner. Okay, so see here, as I said, histone. So where it is present, how it is formed means. So see here, this is the chromosome. Okay, it is a condensed form of chromosome. So see, when we just unfolded the protein, we can get to know like this. Okay, so it will coil, the chromosomes will arrange in a coiling matter because our cell, even though our cell is only very minute, inside our cells nucleus is there. So inside the nucleus, DNA has to be placed in a safest manner because it is a master organ, right? The DNA is maintain our whole body metabolism, that is genetic material, right? So that's why it has to be in a very safe manner, and that's why, and also it is very lengthy, it has to be fitted in a small nucleus. That's why this modification will takes place. Okay, see here, this is the, see, initially chromosome is like this. So when we got unfolding like this, we got the structure like this. So again we get depth on that, we got the histone protein like this. Okay, so again see here, again we will got zoom that, we will got 8 group of histone proteins. So see the red color, this is how the DNA will get wrapped around the histone proteins. Okay, so see here, H1 protein is attached to the linker DNA and nucleosome. Okay, see this is the H1 protein and it is get attached with the linker DNA, and also this is the nucleosome, middle part, no, so that is nucleosome, and this is the linker DNA, because this is one nucleosome, this is one nucleosome, so it will attach it through the linker DNA. So for that, which will giving the support, that is H1 protein. Okay, you can see over here, this is core DNA, this red color, no, so that one, this is the histone tail, and it is having octamer of histone, that is H2A, H2B, H3, and also H4. Okay, and also linker DNA, and this is H1 histone, this one, which is helps to attach to one linker DNA to another linker DNA, no? So that is H1. So this is about the nucleosome and also histone. So according to that, which one is the answer? It is having H2A, H2B, H3, and H4 histones in the part, okay, in the structure. So now move on to the next question, that is the concept of pH homeostasis is option A, the ability of the microbe to control its internal pH, option B, the ability of the microbe to control its external pH, option C, the ability of the microbe to grow on acidic pH, and option D, the ability of the microbe to grow on alkaline pH. Okay. So first of all, what is homeostasis? Homeostasis is nothing but our body is there, no? So it has to be maintained a normal temperature, not only outside, in our inside the body also. Many organelles doing perform functional 24/7, okay, without giving rest. For example, heart, brain, kidney, right? So even though we are in the rest, our body parts are not taking any kind of rest, right? So that's why to maintaining the function of the organelles, the organs, homeostasis has to be maintained. That is, internal environment has to be maintained in a specific manner. Okay, so this is defined as a maintenance of a relatively stable internal environment. Okay, internal environment is maintained, right? So that maintenance is called as homeostasis. Okay, so does not mean that composition, temperature, and other characteristics are absolutely unchanging, right? So we can't say the temperature is in a specific manner. It will be fluctuating. Temperature, pH, composition, it will be fluctuating based on the whatever the reason, whether it is a climate, whether it is a other unconditional reason, our temperature or body temperature, pH will get fluctuating, right? So that's why this homeostasis will helps to maintain the internal body temperature, internal body pH, and it's regulating a specific manner. Okay, so homeostasis is essential for survival and function of all the cells. Okay, so this is very important to survive and also to functioning of all the cells. So each cell contributes to maintenance of a relatively stable internal environment. Okay, in our body, organs is there, no? So each organ is made up of specific tissue cells. So that has to be maintained a internal environment maintenance. Okay, so that is about homeostasis. So according to this, what is the answer? Homeostasis means maintaining the internal pH temperature or internal environment, right? So the answer is the ability of the microbe to control its internal pH is known as homeostasis. And not only in the microbes, even though in the human beings also, we are maintaining the homeostasis. Okay. So first of all, come to the pH. What is pH? Power of hydrogen. So most microorganisms prefer a neutral or slightly alkaline pH to grow in a medium. Okay, that is 7 to 7.4. So this is the neutral range of pH. If it is go less than 7, that is we classify as acidic, and it is going more than 7.4, that is more than 7, that is basic. Okay, so the most of the pathogenic organisms, for example, disease causing organisms, bacteria, many bacteria will causing diseases, right? So that will favorable to the neutral range, that is 7 to 74 range pH is there, no? So that is very favorable pH for the growth of microorganisms. Okay, so some microorganisms also like acidic or alkaline environment, so those are classified as acidophiles and alkalophiles. Okay, but most of the organisms will grow in the neutral range only. But even though many organisms will grow in acidic environment also, and also in alkaline environment also. Okay, so the microorganisms which can grow best in the acidic media, that is in the pH 2 to 5, that organisms is called as acidophiles. Okay, so the microorganisms that, for example, for the acidophiles is fungi. Okay, so the microorganisms which will grow best in alkaline media. Alkaline medium is more than 7.4, right? So that is 8.5 to 11 pH. No, so in that range the microorganisms will grow. So that microorganisms is called as alkalophiles. Okay, so for example, for this alkalophiles is Vibrio cholerae. Okay, this is the human pathogen which will cause cholera disease to human beings. Okay, so now that is about the homeostasis. So now move on to the next question. A metabolic pathway that involves part of the Krebs cycle plus two unique enzymes, malate synthase and also isocitrate lyase. Option A, glyoxylate cycle. Option B, glycolate pathway. Option C, Kelvin cycle. And option D, TCA cycle. Okay, so here what happened means Krebs cycle, no TCA cycle. So it is normally happen, but in some case it will get separated. Okay, some other alternative pathway will happen. So they will asking which is that alternative pathway. Okay, so see here the answer for that question is glyoxylate cycle. So which is occurring some microorganisms when acetate is a source of carbon. Okay, for some organisms acetate is a source of carbon for nutrition or for survival. So in that case this glyoxylate cycle will be happen. Okay, so this cycle has two unique enzymes. Okay, in the middle I will show the diagram. Okay, so in the middle of the TCA cycle two special enzymes will come and intermediate to fluctuate the TCA cycle. Okay, so it has two unique enzymes. What are those? Isocitrate lyase and also malate synthase. Okay, which will bypass the sum of the reaction of TCA cycle. And let us see how it is bypass takes place. So see here, this is the normal TCA cycle. Okay, so after the isocitrate, ketoglutarate is happen. Once again, I will show. Okay, so in the TCA cycle, what happened? Acetyl-CoA is converted into citrate. So after the citrate, isocitrate. So then isocitrate is converted into ketoglutarate, then ketoglutarate to succinyl-CoA, succinyl-CoA to succinate, succinate to fumarate, fumarate to malate, malate to oxaloacetate. Okay, this is the series of Krebs cycle. But here in the glyoxylate cycle, what happened? This isocitrate, no, it is not converted into ketoglutarate. Instead of ketoglutarate, it will bypass. Okay, for example, like this, no, it will get bypass road like this. Okay, so the isocitrate is converted into glyoxylate. Okay, with the help of enzyme isocitrate lyase. Okay, which is the enzyme conversion of isocitrate to glyoxylate, that is isocitrate lyase. Okay, so now this glyoxylate is converted into malate. Okay, it has to bypass, right? So if it is go like this, mean then it has to connect it to the another bridge. So that's why this glyoxylate is again get connected with the malate with the help of enzyme malate synthase. Okay, the major two enzymes which will involve in the conversion of this glyoxylate cycle is isocitrate lyase and also malate synthase. Okay, this is the bypass of Krebs cycle, that is glyoxylate cycle. Okay, so according to this, which is the answer, which is the bypass of the Krebs cycle, that is glyoxylate cycle. Okay, so but in the option they have given the glycolate pathway, that is remaining option. No, in there they will mention about this glycolate pathway. So what is glycolate pathway? It is a occur in the plants. Okay, so it is salvage of 2-phosphoglycerate, so it's 2-phosphoglycolate. So it is involved in the metabolite transport and enzymes in chloroplast, peroxisome and also mitochondria. Okay, in the chloroplast, peroxisome and also in the mitochondrial metabolism, this will help. This glycolate pathway will helps. Okay, so here glycine decarboxylase is a key enzyme in the glycolate pathway, and process consumes oxygen and evolves carbon dioxide. Okay, that is known as photorespiration. Okay, so you can see here, right? It will consumes the oxygen and evolves the carbon dioxide. That process is called as photorespiration. Okay, so here what happened? Waste energy and fixed carbon and also nitrogen will be fixed. Okay, waste energy and the carbon and nitrogen will be fixed in the glycolate pathway process. Okay, so this is the pathway, overall pathway of the glycolate. So it is involved chloroplast and also peroxisome and also mitochondria. Okay, this is the salvage of 2-phosphoglycolate. Here intermediate 2-phosphoglycolate will come in, so and enter into the, that is converted into glycolate. Okay, this 2-phosphoglycolate is there now, so that is converted into glycolate. So then this glycolate will enter inside the peroxisome. Okay, this is chloroplast, this is peroxisome, and this is mitochondria. Okay, so you can see the conversion of two phosphoglycate into glycolate, no? So that's why they have named as a glycolate pathway. Okay, so it is occur in the plants. Okay, so now see the photosynthesis in the plant. So here it is light, that is sunlight, and also here water, so that will get enter inside the chloroplast. Okay, photosynthesis is happening only in the green plants, right? So why only in the green plants? Because it is having chlorophyll pigment. Okay, that is having occur in the chloroplast. Okay, so in the chloroplast, light reactions will be takes place. So with the help of sunlight and with the water, reaction will be takes place and releases oxygen. So why oxygen is released? Because we need oxygen for breathing, right? So that's why oxygen will be released here with the formation of light and also water. Okay, so now by the conversion of ATP and NADH, the light reaction will enter inside the Kelvin cycle. So here what happened? By carbon dioxide will be intake. So we breathe out the carbon dioxide, right? So that will taken up by the plants. So what is the use of the carbon dioxide in the plants? It will take on the carbon dioxide, and Kelvin cycle will be happen in the stroma of the chloroplast, and it will convert it into sugar. Okay, so this is the photosynthesis in plant. Okay, so the Kelvin cycle in the option, they have given other option, and other than right option, they also given the Kelvin cycle. So first of all, what is the Kelvin cycle? It is also happen in the plant. You can see here, during the photosynthesis, for the conversion of carbon dioxide into glucose, Kelvin cycle has to be happen. Okay, so this small Kelvin cycle is this one. Sorry, this one. Okay, here carbon dioxide is coming. Okay, so ribisco is the enzyme. Okay, that is converted into PGA. So then it is converted into 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate, and from the 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate, it is converted into glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. Then it is converted into glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate is converted into ribulose 1,5-bisphosphate. Here three processes happen, that is carbon fixation, reversion of glycolysis, and also reformation of RUBP. Okay, so with involving these two, glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate will be converted into glucose and other sugars. Okay, so this is about the Kelvin cycle. So now in the other than the correct option, they have given TCA cycle also. So TCA is nothing but what? Tricarboxylic acid cycle. Okay, this is also called as Krebs cycle. So where it is occur? It will occur totally in the mitochondria. Okay, so after the glycolysis, what is the end product of glycolysis? Pyruvate, right? So that pyruvate, the next stage is it is enter inside the mitochondria, because glycolysis is not happen in the mitochondria. It is occur in the cytosol. So the pyruvate end product is converted into acetyl-CoA and enter inside the mitochondria to perform TCA cycle. Okay, so here what happened? The pyruvate from glycolysis is degraded to carbon dioxide, that is acetyl-CoA in the formation, and also some ATP is produced in the conversion, and also more NADH is made, where in the TCA cycle some amount of ATP is produced, but more NADH is made. Okay, so NADH goes on to make more ATP in electron transport chain and also in oxidative phosphorylation, because one NADH is equal to 3 ATP, right? So that's why here in the electron transport chain and also in the oxidative phosphorylation, it will make more ATPs. Okay, so it is called as traffic circle. Why? Because, for example, this is a TCA cycle. Okay, this is for example, this is a TCA cycle. So here many interlinking. Okay, for example, fatty acid synthesis and also some glucose metabolism. All the metabolites will get connected here. Okay, this is protein, this is glycolysis, some other products will get attaching to the TCA cycle. So that's why it is act like a traffic circle. That is, many compounds will entering inside this cycle, many compounds will leaving outside from this cycle. Okay, so this is about the TCA. So now let us see the cycle. So see, this is the overall cycle of TCA. Okay, so what happened? Acetyl-CoA. So when this acetyl-CoA will come in, after the glycolysis, pyruvate is the end product, right? So pyruvate is converted into acetyl-CoA. So now this acetyl-CoA is converted into citrate with the help of citrate synthase. Now citrate is converted into cis-aconitase with the help of aconitase. And also here the same reaction, but here isocitrate will be produced with the help of same enzyme. This isocitrate is converted into oxalosuccinate, isocitrate dehydrogenase, and this oxalosuccinate is converted into alpha ketoglutarate. So now This alpha ketoglutarate is converted into succinyl CoA. Then the succinyl CoA is converted into succinate, and at last succinate is converted into fumarate, fumarate into malate, malate into oxaloacetate. At last, the cycle is repeated in this manner. Okay, so here one NADH is produced, here also one NADH, here one ATP, okay, and here one FADH2, and here one NADH2 will be produced. Okay, this is the overall of citric acid cycle, and the citric acid cycle is also called as Krebs cycle, okay, and also called as TCA cycle. Okay, so now move on to the next question, that is the maximum coiling of the chromosome is observed during, means cell replication is takes place, no, that is meiosis and mitosis. So in that case, where the maximum coiling is takes place, they have asked it. Okay, so option A, packaging of the meiosis, option B, metaphase of mitosis, option C, anaphase of meiosis 1, option D, telophase of meiosis 2. Okay, so see, this is the overall process. In the prophase, what happened? The chromosomes will condense and become visible. That is, spindle fibers will form like a chromosomes. Okay, that is centrosomes. So here nucleolus disappear. The next phase is prometaphase. Prometaphase means before the metaphase, some processing has to be takes place. So that is known as prometaphase. So here what happened? It has in the metaphase, chromosomes will has to be come in the middle side, right? So for that, here preparation will be takes place. So here what happened? Chromosomes continue to condense and ketocophores will be appear in the centrosomes. Okay, so in the metaphase, what happened? All the chromosomes will get arranged in a middle. Okay, in the specific manner, in the middle it will get arranged. So in the cytokinesis, what happened? Sorry, after the metaphase, anaphase. So here what happened? The middle phase is there, no, that will get separated in the opposite side. In the telophase, it will the spindle fibers will get disappear because it has to be divided in the next step. That's why it will be get ready, right? That's why. And the cytokinesis, two cells will be separated. One cell will separate. This is one cell, for example, it will separate like this. Okay, so this is the overall process of cell replication. So according to this, what is the answer? Metaphase of the mitosis. Okay, because in the metaphase it is arranged in the middle like this, no? So their specificity is more, and chromosomes will be formed in a dimer manner like this. Okay, so that's why metaphase is the answer. So now come to the meiosis, because apart from the correct option, they are asking the meiosis in the option. So what is meiosis? Meiosis is a reductional division. Okay, in mitosis what happened? It is equational division, but in meiosis it is reductional division. Here what happened? See here it involves two stages, that is meiosis 1 and also meiosis 2. Okay, so in the meiosis 1 what happened? Segregation takes place, that is homologous pairs are get separated and reducing chromosomes number by half. Okay, in the first meiosis what happened? The chromosome number will reduce to half. So it will include prophase 1, metaphase 1, anaphase 1, and also telophase 1. Okay, in the meiosis 2, what happened? Here sister chromatids will get separated and producing 4 haploid gametes. Okay, this is prophase 2, metaphase 2, anaphase 2. At last, the telophase, we can see 4 haploid gametes will be produced. Okay, so this is the part in the prophase 1. Here you can see, right, this prophase 1. So in the prophase 1, 4 steps will be happen. Okay, from the conversion of prophase 1 to metaphase 1, in the prophase 1 stage, 4 reaction will be takes place. What are those? Leptotin, 5 reaction. Okay, leptotin, zygotin, pakitin, diplotin, and also diakinesis. Okay, so in the leptotin, what happened? Nuclear membrane will replicate, chromosomes will be condensed like this. In the zygotin, what happened? Bivalent will be forming. Okay, that is synapsis. Synapsis is nothing but like this, joining, right? So that is nothing but synapsis, which is happening in the zygotin stage. And in the pakitin, what happened? The bivalent has formed and crossing over has to be occurred. Okay, here see, with the help of synapsis, bivalent takes place. That is, one will cross like this. Okay, bivalent means one chromosome will get attached with another chromosome like this. So it is happen in the pakitin. So when come to the diplotin, here chiasma will be formed. Okay, chiasma means, see here, the chromosomes will appear like this, no? The synaptonemal complex will be dissociate and form like this. So at last, it has to be the synapse is also removed and the formation, that is nuclear membrane fragmentation, takes place like this. Okay, see here, this is the end of prophase 1. At last of the end of prophase 1, the chromosomes will attach like this. Okay, so after happening these 5 steps only, this prophase has to be converted into metaphase. Okay, so now see the difference between the mitosis and meiosis. As I already said, mitosis is equational division. Equational division means whatever the diploid is there, starting point, at the end point also we are getting the same amount of chromosomes. Okay, chromosome numbers. But in meiosis, what happened? It will reduce it to half. Okay, so see here, it is 46, right, in the diploid stage. So when they will convert it into haploid, it will come into 23. That is half of the chromosome number. That's why mitosis is called as equational division. Meiosis is called as reductional division. Okay. So now move on to the next question. During replication, the long strands of DNA in a cell's nucleus get tangled, making it harder for a cell to read genes, but dash enzyme can prevent tangling. Okay, so here they have given the option DNA ligase, DNA replicase, DNA topoisomerase, and also DNA isomerase. Okay, so first of all, where these enzymes are present in the during the DNA replication. Okay, so DNA replication means DNA has to be replicated, right? So that process is called as DNA replication. So here many enzymes are involved. Okay, so in that type, topoisomerase is also one of the enzyme. So this topoisomerase is also called as DNA gyrase. Okay, so the main function of the topoisomerase is unwinds and rewinds the DNA strands to prevent the DNA from becoming tangled or supercoiled. Okay, so if any DNA is supercoiled like this, for example, if it is supercoiled like this, okay, it has to be rewind. Okay, it has to be unwind it. That is that function is happened by this topoisomerase. So what happened? For example, DNA will tangle. Okay, tangle. For example, rope we will do like this. No, so after we have to relax that rope. So that is occurred by this enzyme only. Okay, so when topoisomerase come and act here, this relax. Okay, the supercoiling will get relaxed. So see here, this is DNA helicase, which is helps to division. Sorry, it is helps to unwinding. For example, I am taking a zip. Just remember the zip. Okay, we have opened the zip, right? So that is performed by the helicase. Okay, helicase which helps to act like a opening of the zip, but this topoisomerase will sieve it. It is closing in a correct manner. So reverse case, in the reverse phase, we will do zip like this. No, so in that case is happening, means that thing is happening by this topoisomerase enzyme. Okay, so this is about the DNA replication. So as I already said, many enzymes are involved, right? So the main major enzymes in the DNA replication are helicase, that is unzip parental double helix. As I already said, it will unzip. Okay, if it is zip is closed, it means see here it is closed like a zip. So here helicase will become and act like a zip. It will open the DNA structure. Okay, so come to the single stranded binding protein, that is SSP protein. So what is the function of SSP protein? Stabilize the single DNA strands to be used as a templates. Okay, you can see here, right? It has to stabilize the strands as used as a template. Okay, so now come to the topoisomerase. It will correct the overbinding. Okay, if any overbinding takes place, so it will come in that and relax the overbinding. Okay, the function of the topoisomerase is corrects the overbinding. If any tangling is, for example, if any tangling is happen like this, the topoisomerase will come and act on that and relax that helix structure. Okay. So according to this, which is the answer? DNA topoisomerase is helpful to remove the tangling. Okay. So now other options, the given as DNA ligase. So the name itself says ligase is nothing but what? Joining. Okay. So DNA ligase helps to seals the nick between the Okazaki fragments, converting them to a continuous strands of DNA. Okay. So you can see over here, this is a strands of the DNA. So here nick will be takes place. See, opening is takes place, right? So this is not present like this. Because of this only many unconditional defect is there in it will happen in our body because only in the this nick. Okay, so this nick has to be sealed. Okay, for example, like this it is happening, right, like this, so it has to be fixed like this. Okay, for that which is helping DNA ligase enzyme will helping for the joining of this nick. Okay, so now this is overall of DNA replication. See here, this is the chromosome, this is original DNA. So helicase will coming and unzip. Okay, unzip the DNA strand. Here DNA polymerase come. Polymerase means which is added the DNT piece for the replication. Okay, so this is the leading strand. This is the lagging strand. So in the lagging strand, Okazaki fragments is present. Okay, so these all are base pairs, that is adenine, thymine, cytosine, and also guanine. Okay, so this is overall process of DNA replication. So now move on to the next question, that is which of the following are the non-coding RNAs. Okay, option A rRNA, miRNA, and mRNA. Option B rRNA, tRNA, and mRNA. Option C miRNA, tRNA, and mRNA. And option C rRNA, miRNA, and tRNA. Okay. So see here, this is the types of RNA molecules. So first of all, RNA is converted into two types, coding RNA and non-coding RNA. Okay, so in the coding RNA, only one RNA is present, that is mRNA. Okay, so wherever you found mRNA, don't even think it is a non-coding, it is coding RNA. Okay, so what are the non-coding RNA? It is transcribed RNA with a structural, functional, and a catalytic role. So what are the non-coding RNA? rRNA, that is ribosomal RNA, transfer RNA, tRNA, and also snRNA, that is small nuclear RNA, and SNO RNA, that is small nucleolar RNA. Okay, and RNA interference and other RNA with having chromatin structure. So these all are coming under non-coding RNA. Okay, the only coding RNA is mRNA. Okay, so again this RNA interference is differentiate into two types, miRNA and siRNA, that is microRNA, small RNA involved in the regulation of expression, and the small interfering RNA which involves in the active molecules in the RNA interference. Okay, so now come to the function of rRNA. It is helps in the protein synthesis. tRNA will helps to the interface between the mRNA and the amino acids, and snRNA will helps to the form some spliceosome format. Okay, spliceosome means what? Non-coding introns has to be removed and exons has to be joining. That is known as splicing, right? So for that, snRNA will helpful, and this no RNA is found in the nucleolus and involved in the modification of rRNA. Okay, so these are these RNA interference are involved in the expression and the regulation. Okay, so this is the about types of RNA molecules. So according to this, which is the answer? Non-coding. They are asking non-coding RNA, right? So once again, I will show the question. So see, which of the following are the non-coding? So as I already said, the only coding RNA is mRNA, right? So see here, in the first option also we got mRNA. Once again, I will show. In the first option also, here mRNA is present. In second option, also mRNA is present. In third option also mRNA present. So how come these three becomes non-coding? No, right? So that's why in the the D option here, there is no mRNA is present. That's why this D option is the answer. That is D option is the non-coding RNA. Okay. So rRNA, miRNA, tRNA are coming under the non-coding RNA category. Okay. So now move on to the next question. In the final step of the protein synthesis, the folding of many proteins is made more efficient by a special class of protein called what? Option A, gap pole fusion protein. Option B, protease. Option C, chaperone. Option D, ubiquitin. Okay, so now move on to the question. So first of all, protein folding. What is the function of protein folding? It is occurs spontaneously. Okay, protein folding will occur spontaneously, and it is aided by the chaperone proteins. Okay, chaperone is present in the, which is helpful for the correct protein folding, that is known as chaperone. Okay, it will provide the ideal environment for folding. So see here, this is the chaperone. It is having the cap. Okay, for example, this polypeptide, right? This is a protein. It is not folded in a regular manner. Okay, it has to be folded in a correct manner. That's why it will enter inside the chaperone. So after enter inside, this unfolded polypeptide enters the cylinder from one end. So after that, what happened? In the second step, what happened? Here processing takes place. That is misfolded. No, that is folded in the correct manner. So the cap attaches. Okay, your cap opening, because the entry of protein has to be takes place. So after the entry of protein, so the cap has to be closed. Okay, the cap attaches to that end, causing the cylinder to change shape in such a way that it creates the hydrophilic environment for the folding of the polypeptide. Okay, protein is hydrophilic, right? So that's why it is needed hydrophilic environment for the folding of the polypeptide. Okay, so at last what happened? The cap comes off and also the properly folded protein is released out. Okay, see here, this is the correctly folded protein which is removed from the chaperonin complex. Okay, so see here the same thing only. This is unfolded protein. This is molecular chaperone. So folding takes place. So with the help of molecular chaperone, the protein is folded in a correct manner. Okay, so after that, this is separated with the folded protein and protein will be released from that. Okay, so this is the overall process of protein folding and also involvement of chaperones. So according to this, which is the answer? Chaperone is the answer. Okay, so see here in the other options, apart from the correct, they have given other options, right? So in that they are asking GAG proteins. So where it is present, GAG is nothing but group specific antigen, and it is present in the HIV virus. Okay, HIV is also called as retrovirus, right? So because it is having reverse transcriptase enzyme in it, that's why it is called as retrovirus. So this GAG proteins is present as an internal structural proteins. So apart from this GAG proteins, it is also having POL, that is polymerase enzyme, and also envelope proteins in it. Okay. So the main groups of digestive enzymes, okay, that is lipase. Lipase, the name itself says it will digest the lipid, that is fatty substances. Okay, so come to the protease. This enzyme will helps to digest the protein molecules. Okay, then come to the carbohydrates. Carbohydrates, which is helps to digest the carbohydrate molecules. So see here, this is the fat with the help of lipase. This will break down into glycerol and fatty acid. This is the protein. With the help of protease, the protein will break down into amino acid. So this is the starch. Okay, with the help of carbohydrates, this will convert it into sugars. Okay, so this is the main enzyme they may be asking the upcoming cases. So which is the enzyme helpful to conversion, breakdown of lipid or protein or sugar? Okay, so you have to remember. So now come to the ubiquitin. So what is the ubiquitin? It is consist of 76 amino acid, which is having 8.5 kilo Dalton. Okay, where it is found? It is found in all eukaryotic cells. Okay, it is ubiquitinous in matter. It is highly conserved. Okay, so what is the uses of this ubiquitin? Means it is used in the post-translational modification. Okay, translation takes place, right? That is, RNA is converted into protein. That process we call it as translation. Okay, so after the translation, the protein will coming out, right? RNA is converted into protein. So this protein has to be in a correct manner. That doesn't has to be misfolded, because misfolded protein will lead to many other defect in our body. So that's why the protein has to be folded in a correct manner. So for that, after the translation, post-translation modification will be takes place with the help of ubiquitin. Okay. So this is about this video. So hope people enjoy this video. So if you like this video, hit the like button and share with your friends, so that it will help for their preparation as well. And also if any questions, any queries, so let me know in the comment box. Okay, so I will give the answer, and don't forget to subscribe my channel. So thank you so much for watching.